Guess who got brands talking? Brandlife.co.za.
Good morning to all of our listeners and a happy Tuesday. We are thrilled to have you back with us on hashtag WITEE Chatterbots, Women in Tech Empowering Everyone. We are coming live from the Brand Life studio in the bohemian city of Melville. I am Carmen Murray, tech visionary, and my double trouble, Jessica McIndoe, social media fundie. Morning.
Good morning.
Why do you look so nervous? Oh my goodness, I wish you could see the picture I'm seeing here. It's like double troubles of other troubles.
Do you know, it's that I think there's a lot of people actually going back to work this week.
Yes.
I've already been back for 2 weeks, and it's like, I feel like I didn't have a holiday. I think everyone feels the same. But it is Tuesday.
Yeah,
so
no, propel
excited.
forward. On your marks, get set,
Go.
So today we have a special Tuesday treat for you. So you can hashtag Tuesday treat with Jess, joined by her right-hand magic maker, Cawyn Emslie, for their company Social Path. Welcome, Cawyn.
Thanks, guys. I'm excited to be here. Nervous.
No, why? Mind you, you should be nervous for the end, because when we start with the 10 questions, I hope you're going to be able to handle that.
Well, it's awesome times. I'm glad Cawyn's come here. She was very nervous, but we're magic makers, so you got thrown in the deep end now. So it's awesome times. That's it. We're super excited today.
Yeah.
I brought Cawyn with because I've stolen her away from the office and from the team. And for those of you who don't know, Cawyn joined us last year, and she, like me, eats, breathes, and sleeps social media. She joined our team. I was very impressed. Her experience she has within South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia.
Awesome.
It includes, she was Take A Lot social media program and, taking their team up and growing that. Strong financial services like me, where I was with Barclays, but she's worked with ABSA, Nedbank, Westbank, Standard Bank, and Momentum. And then she's also worked with other blue chip clients like SAA, Anglo American, FCB, South African Tourism, and Showmax and more. So we were very, very excited to have her on board, and we're excited to share our insights today. So
welcome, girl. That is amazing. Wow. I mean, I would love to pick your brain, obviously offline, because I would drive people insane who's listening in. But now, to get to today's interview that we're discussing with Jessica and Cawyn, we are getting into some juicy insights into 2018 and about content marketing, trend topics for the new super empowered consumer. So Cawyn and Jess, I want to start off with a question for you. What do you think is driving the new super empowered user and shaping the trends for 2018?
I think I was very excited to see about the whole new super empowered user. So today people can access an infinite amount of content anywhere and anytime across almost every screen.
Correct.
So while reaching people is easy, keeping their attention is harder than ever. Popular social media networks continuously update their platforms. We've seen a lot of changes already now this year, which is why it's critical for marketers to keep up to date with the latest developments in the social media space. So, I mean...
I believe that all customers are cross-channel, so you can't just stick to one platform. You always have to change, so your business should be changing as your customers are and as the platforms develop. You can't rely on selfie and unicorn references anymore.
Tell me a little bit about that. What do you mean by that?
I think really from there is like the most successful marketing campaigns, right? You need to actually connect with people as individuals rather than your broad level, like just spraying and praying, if you like.
Yeah. And, just further to your point, attention is a finite resource, and, getting people to actually find you interesting and to pay attention to you, and for you not to be intrusive and interrupting them. I think it's paramount that one needs to understand the super empowered user to shape up the trends as we always hear about them, but to have more clarity and a framework around that. So another question I have for you is, leading marketers are telling us that they are exploring data-driven attribution as a way to effectively measure all their digital channels. Why do you think that is?
So as consumers interact with your brand across growing numbers of screens and channels, it's what we've seen is that it's been increasingly difficult to know which part of your marketing strat are working. So understanding the impact each touch point is paramount in measuring the customer's journey, right? So your brands need to define success.
Yeah.
And by doing that, you need to connect attribution results to your business results, align all your incentives, and build a process for taking action.
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing of like, there's so much stuff out there. So how do you as a business then say, right, with all these channels that are available and this new super empowered user who wants to have relevancy, you need to, as a business, decide. And I think that's why, like with Cawyn and I at Social Path, what we do is sit down and say, what is success to you as a brand?
Yes.
And how do we measure that? And, you know, then get into this process of learning continuously so that you can become better and better at what you do.
And I mean, I think one thing that is important, obviously, is the defining the success and knowing what that would be from the word go.
Exactly.
So, what are some of the steps that you? I'm just throwing out some questions. What is the steps that you think is necessary in order to define your audience before you even start with your plan?
Yeah, I think it's really around, and you've hit the nail on the head about understanding that audience. Like, for us, we don't do anything without research. So if you don't want to do research with us, we don't want to actually even tackle the project, because you need to understand, like, who is that person, that one special person that you need. So it's not about having, when we started out, we had like social media, we're like, oh, we want 1 million likes on our Facebook page. It's not about that anymore. It's like, if there's 100 people, you need those 100 people. So how do we get to those 100 people? So defining that and putting it in so that you can measure. And we put KPIs in place. So this is where we want to be in the next 6 months.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I think deep diving as well. So using analytics, understanding, treating them all as individuals. They're not all the same. So you can't, your content needs to be viewed with 100 different personalities. So by building the strat that we do, we understand that we can attract 100 different people as opposed to just thinking about one person. So each one is treated as an individual.
I love that, because you're also talking about persona development, because persona development is so powerful, guys, but finding out who your customers actually are, because, you know, I always talk about, if I am Carmen, I'm 5 different types of Cawyn. It all depends on the environment I'm in at that particular point in time, and when you're engaging with me. Am I in business mode, social mode, dog mode? You know, like, you know, it all depends on how and the amount of information that I want to share with you, or how I want to engage with you as a brand. So I think that is absolutely paramount. And I love the feedback, guys. Another thing is, in 2017, Think with Google, which is, by the way, so amazing tool. Love it. Announced that new consumer behaviors emerged and a new super empowered consumer took shape. What does that mean?
I think really from there, like, because I also I troll Think with Google. There's so much insight there.
I love that.
We found that people are more curious. They've become more demanding, and they're more impatient than ever before. Like, I always say to people, I'm the worst customer you could ever have, because I'm the least patient person you'll ever meet. But it's critical for marketers to understand that these new behaviors, as we're moving into the new year, we can expect that this super empowered consumer is going to continue to evolve. So you said, like when we started today, we were like, oh, it's a Tuesday, so I could have my Tuesday head on instead of my Monday head. So the expectations are only going to continue to rise.
Yeah, we expect the empowered consumer to continue to evolve, which means that we need to as well. Expectations will only continue to rise. People will all ask detailed questions and want more personally relevant answers, and they'll want it faster than ever before. So we always need to be up to date and continuously checking and, you know, making sure that we're never behind.
Yeah, and one of the stats that was actually on Think with Google was that, like, mobile searches, people had started using the word best, right? So it's grown by 80% in 2 years. So people want the best this, the best that. So how do you become the best? So understanding what people are looking for, they're doing that deeper dive.
That's very interesting. And also, I think the important thing also to remember here is when people saying best, it doesn't mean you're just throwing out that word and using it. You actually need to prove that you are the best.
Absolutely.
And to show thought leadership and show that you are the best in how you're delivering your products or services. So, that's quite a defining moment, I think, for businesses also to realize that using a word doesn't necessarily mean, hey, I am the best, because you need to prove.
What do you mean? I am the best.
Proof in the pudding, peeps. Okay, so how do brands earn consumer attention in this new world of watching?
Well, I think digital is no longer that, like Cawyn said, it's not a one size fits all. Brands really need to tailor their creative approach to each platform, and really around accessing that real-time data to optimize performance and do that on the fly. Like, you can't just sit back and go, well, we're the best, and sit and wait. Knowing that one story can be actually told across different units with your sequencing and your targeting. So who we're targeting with on a Facebook versus a Twitter versus a Instagram versus Snapchat, and making content that's actually personal and relevant.
Yeah, research also shows that being useful and relevant is the only way to get consumers to tune in. Brands should also prioritize platforms that have content people actually, want and they need.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, I totally agree with that. Listen, guys, we have to go for a quick ad break. You with the WITEE Chatterbots, hashtag us on WITEE, and we will be back shortly. Thank you so much, guys.
Yay.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za, an industry first in the world of internet radio. Not only are we an internet radio station, we are an internet radio platform for your brand. So why not expose your brand to potentially thousands of listeners and improve your customer relationships and brand equity with podcasts and live broadcasts? Be sure to check brandlive.co.za for more information. brandlive.co.za, harnessing the power of internet radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
The WITEE Chatterbots. Join myself, Carmen Murray, and my double trouble, Jessica McIndoe, with our big personalities, and we will present you with an insightful yet fun show.
We will feature interviews with industry heavyweights and unpack everything from new technologies, marketing trends, and case studies to empower you to be ahead of the curve.
Brand Live.
Join us on this exciting journey every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and start a conversation on hashtag WITEE Show.
Hashtag WITEE Show.
Thank you.
Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za.
Morning, guys. Are you back with the WITEE Chatterbot Show? Oh, we loved the ad. We were just like hearing it for the first time. It was like quite like interesting.
It's amazing what they can do in the sound studio.
Exciting times. Okay, just and Cawyn, just if we can pick up the conversation where we're talking about how things are changing, etc. Maybe we can just start and pick it up from there and just brief our audience as we go on.
No, awesome. I think before we went to the break, it's really around that whole relevancy and being on the right platform.
Yes.
And one of the things as well is when you want to do that is, I think one of the big shifts for 2018 is really thinking about content. So we talk about social. If you don't have content, you can't share anything on social.
Correct.
So one of the things that we've seen now as well, and I think for marketers to think about, is really there's now going to be sort of the two types of content, because if you think about what your users, where they're consuming this content. So we call it like the lean forward, and then there's also the lean back. So with lean forward, it's really around people are learning how to do something. So if you think about when you're having those secret meetings and you lean into each other. So they want to find out information about something when they're researching a purchase or they're exploring something and getting ideas. It's really where you'd be leaning in to go and see that content. So you've got that attention span. And where you've got lean back is really around thinking, okay, now we've had a very long day. It's been a very long Tuesday. We go home, pour a glass of wine, get your tablet out, and you're sitting on the couch.
Listen, tablets and wine.
Tablets and wine.
What is going on here?
Just don't ever spill. But that's really around where someone's actually killing time or they're relaxing and you're watching more entertainment type content. So you really need to think about that when you're taking that content forward. So, it's really around getting that attention.
Yeah.
And you need to know that consumer attention is not shrinking, but marketers have to work harder to capture it, which is really valuable. You also need to know that you're more likely to get someone's attention through online video.
Yeah, video is huge this year.
Yeah, I mean, so that is ever growing, and people still pay attention to ads, which is surprising. I think from a personal perspective, you don't realize how valuable those ads are. But it needs to be relevant.
Yeah. I think, I love what you're saying because I think it's so important with video. Obviously, the 3 seconds, people do engage with brands and ads. And obviously, we've heard about the news breaking from Mark Zuckerberg this week.
Yeah.
But the important thing, I saw a case study by, I think it was Lexus, Utility One, where they took 1,000 different personas and they had 1,000 different types of ads that were served. So they had finding from their dark data that, for example, a person that has a certain type of vehicle has a certain type of handbag and have a certain type of shoe, and they would have a video of a person getting out of one of those cars having that handbag and shoes. They're not even focusing on the car. This is brought to you by Lexus. And they had such huge results because they were talking to consumers and showing that they were understanding them and exactly as you say, in their lean back mode or their lean in mode, because video is that powerful tool, the underpinning methodology to use.
Yeah, and it's that relevancy as well. And I mean, just to touch base on the whole Mark Zuckerberg shame, he lost 3.3 billion. He's still worth like 75 billion. But that's just going to show again so when Facebook first started, we got sick of seeing adverts. Like people spammed us. They were broadcasting and then they came in and we actually as marketers had targeting. And I mean, the update now that he's made with the whole news feed and everything is that there's twofold. So we as marketers have been like now going and putting ads and stuff. People are going to choose whether they want to see our businesses updates as opposed to just their personal, because people are feeling like we're cluttering that news feed again. The challenge with that is if people get sick of being there and we see too much business stuff and not like personal content and family stuff, Facebook can't collect the content of what we're sharing. So they can't offer as marketers that Carmen is a dog person, Jessica is a cat and dog person, Cawyn is a dog person. What types of dogs do you have? What kind of stuff are you going to be seeing? So we can't target correctly. So it's kind of like this whole 360, like a pyramid of, if you don't do this, then you're not going to get that. So really, really important.
And I think it's also being a combination of a gatherer and a hunter.
Yes,
so, gathering all the information, then you go out hunting. Which I think is also powerful. So, ladies, what do you believe will be the marketing hurdles most brands will face this year?
I think companies are going to find themselves fatigued with like all these content formats, game plans, tools. Like there's so much out there. So I think that's when, Cawyn said before, it's about having the plan that you're putting in place. And then understanding which platforms we're still struggling with, like where are these people? Because often we get clients come in and they want to be on everything. Like why? Well, you don't have to be on everything.
It's not a race.
So it's not a race. You've got to... it's everyone eats a slice of the pie, but go and eat the right pie, if you like.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And one of the things is like I'm learning in my own journey as well is like you have to be so freaking agile. And agile is not just a word, people. Your brain doesn't switch off because you keep on having to rethink how you need to adjust and learnings that you're having, But Cawyn, do you have anything else to add to that?
Well, measuring your return on investment, is most important. There's so much pressure on marketers to prove the effectiveness of the strats that are employed, to attest to the positive impact on future investments. Marketing teams now need to evaluate or reevaluate the impact that their efforts have on an overall business, and versus the the monetary investments made to bring, the campaign into full circle.
Yeah. And it's that whole, we still got to keep the boss happy, right?
Yeah.
When you ask for a budget of R1 million, you got to prove that it worked.
Yeah, for sure.
So
it's all in the proof. It's all in the pudding.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm starting to become a chocoholic, people. I'm just talking pudding the whole time. I mean, I think I had a whole box of chocolates this weekend. Sorry. So last question before we move into the 1 minute game.
Oh no.
What are the biggest opportunities for brands in 2018 to connect to the super empowered user?
Okay, so I think we're going to see the rise of short-lived content, because people want to feel stuff's authentic.
Yes.
So the whole Snapchat thing, we're going to see something happening there. So something that's short and it's there and it disappears and it's authentic.
Love it.
Last year we chatted a lot about influence marketing and stuff as well. And this year I think we're going to see more around micro-influencer. So just like we're saying, the 100 people rather than the 1,000 people or 10,000 people. People buy into influencers who have more of a realistic following.
Yes.
So it's not about going and paying those people that have 1 million followers because it doesn't feel real. So it's all about being real. There's that huge one this year for data protection. There's a lot of people going, it's launching in May. For those who don't know, it's GDPR, which is the General Data Protection Regulation. It's happening in the EU. Lots of people are saying, it's the EU. It's data. This is a global community, so you really have to be careful on there. And just really involving that community, and and then I think also messaging apps.
Yeah, messaging apps and the evolution of social platforms that have been created new sharing habits and dark social traffic that comes from messaging apps, which you've mentioned. Email, mobile, native apps, and securing your browser.
Yeah.
So that's important as well.
Yeah, so I think from that side, it's just there's this dark traffic coming. People are sharing differently because platforms have been evolving. Yeah. So we need to understand that.
Yeah.
So I might get an email, I'll WhatsApp it to Cawyn. Cawyn will then go and copy it and put it into a Facebook message for you.
Yeah, there's a whole
and then
journey.
You go and look.
Yeah.
So we need to understand, key this year is understanding that journey of how did you actually get that person to actually come and see your content that you've created.
Yeah, no, totally. And I also think just further to that, I think co-creation is also going to be a very important thing.
Yeah.
Because I think that giving people a voice, especially your mass market, is all about having a voice. And you'll see also a lot of activists and things happening within our environment, how people are starting to become more vocal. So I think the opportunity for brands there is also to become far more engaged and giving that platform for consumers and open up conversations and co-creating.
Yes.
The teens are now becoming grown-ups, so they grew up with all this tech, so we need to catch up as marketers. It's
correct.
It's huge.
Anyway, ladies, Cawyn,
yes,
take that nervous smile off your face. We are about to go into the 60-second challenge, starting now. What job would you be terrible at?
I would have to say cleaning toilets.
When did you screw up everything up, but no one ever found out it was you?
Probably replying to a customer and it should have gone to a team member.
Okay, what celebrity would you rate as a perfect 10?
Perfect 10? Sure, but Angelina Jolie.
Okay, what is the best and worst online purchase you've ever made?
I bought a pair of shoes and they were the wrong size.
Oh no! Oh no! What is the dumbest way you've been injured?
What is the
dumbest way you've been injured?
I hit myself on the head with a golf club.
What app on your phone do you think I should get?
A cooking channel, how to cook.
5, 4,
what thing do you really wish
3,
you could buy right now?
2, 1.
A laptop.
Okay,
No.
Congratulations, you have finished 7 questions out of 10. Well done. You handled it well, hey?
I've got a heart palpitation.
Oh my God, when Jessica was asking me questions, I think I completed 4. Like she was asking me such heavy questions and questions that I was like, should I answer this or should I not?
No, Carmen didn't want to get into trouble with hubby for all her shoe purchases. That's what it was.
So, we always say that, but that is one of those things. But listen, guys, we just want to thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you for your loyal support. So we're getting some great feedback from you guys. If there's any topics that you would like to hear more about, please hashtag us on hashtag WITEE. Also, we have a very, very exciting guest coming from Telesure, Upstream Media next week. Her name is Simone Frost, and she heads up digital. And we're going to unpack and take this conversation further on performance marketing. So, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Carmen Murray.
I'm Jessica McIndoe, and we're signing
out. Mic drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
The WITEE Chatterbots. Join myself, Carmen Murray, and my double trouble, Jessica McIndoe, with our big personalities, and we will present you with an insightful yet fun show.
We will feature interviews with industry heavyweights and unpack everything from new technologies, marketing trends, and case studies to empower you to be ahead of the curve.
Brand Live.
Join us on this exciting journey every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and start a conversation on hashtag WITEE Show.
Hashtag WITEE Show.